Hi, everybody. Brian Professor B. Davis for your San Francisco 49ers 2017 season wrap-up in review. The 49ers finishing the season strong, finishing with a 6-10 record, which was expected. They were not expected to compete this year. It was a rebuilding year. And how far the Niners have come in a short time under first-year head coach Kyle Shanahan and new general manager John Lynch. We look back around this time a year ago, the 49ers were coming off a 2-14 season. It was a horrendous season, which included a franchise record 14 consecutive losses. Things just went downhill. Only this club were only 3 years removed from making it to 3 straight NFC championships, including a Super Bowl berth as NFC champions in 2012. And then, after the loss in the championship game to Seattle, things just went totally downhill. Jim Harbaugh and the Niners parted ways after the 2014 season with all the links in the locker room and everything. And then Jim Tomsula took over in 2015. He went 5-11, and then he was one and done. Then the Niners bring in Chip Kelly, who just got bounced in Philadelphia. He won the first game, but lose 14 in a row. They ended up going 2-14. In fact, the Niners would not win another game, or were going to lose 23 of its next 24 games going to the start of this season with this new regime rebuilding, starting the season with 9 straight losses. That's the new franchise record to start the season. So you look at the kind of a tale of 2 seasons, a year and a half makes. They end up losing 23 of their next 24, which included an 0-9 start to start this season. But 5 of those 9 losses were determined by 5 points or lose by a combined total of 13 points. So they were competitive in a lot of these games. But the big trade came right the day before Halloween on October 30th when John Lynch pulled off the blockbuster trade where they traded for Jimmy Garoppolo for the New England Patriots and for draft future considerations. And probably the biggest in-season blockbuster trade the Niners had pulled off in recent memory. And probably you could think about the trades, couple similar trades. Well, you can look back of 19 or in-season acquisition of any kind when they signed Deion Sanders back in 1984 from the Falcons, or go way back in 1981, their first Super Bowl season, when they acquired Jack Hacksaw Reynolds from the Rams, and then the big blockbuster trade when they picked up Fred Dean from the San Diego Chargers for future considerations that led to the Niners to their first Super Bowl victory, and really was the beginning of the start of their decade of dominance of the 1980s. So the 49ers end up finishing in the second half, winning 6 of their last 7 games, including a 5-game winning streak. They were the hottest team in the National Football League. Only 4 teams or 2 teams in the NFC had a better record than San Francisco. So the Niners, finishing off on a very positive note. We're going to give you the final totals. The Niners finishing the season 6-10, finishing dead last in the NFC West. It doesn't feel like they're a 6-10 team, and a lot of people were talking about. I mean, if the Niners were if Garoppolo played a full season, the Niners right now would be the most dangerous team going in the NFL playoff tournament. So, but this is definitely are heading into a right direction towards 2018. So the final numbers, final rankings, the Niners ranked 20th in points per game at 20.7, 25 points against, 25th with points against, 11th with 368.8 yards a game, 8th in pass yards per game, 264.7, 21st rush per game with 103.9 yards. And then here's the individual final numbers. Jimmy Garoppolo, since coming from the Patriots, 6 games started, 120 out of 178 for 1,560 yards. He threw 7 touchdown passes at a QB rating of 96.2. C.J. Beathard, the rookie, 7 games started, 123 out of 224 for 1,430 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 59.2 QB rating, and then Brian Hoyer, before he got released after the Garoppolo trade, he ended up getting 6 games started, and he ended up was 119 out of 205 for 465 yards and 4 touchdowns, and a quarterback rate 74.1. And then Carlos Hyde led the Niners with 240 carries. He ended up finishing the season with 938 yards, meaning he was only 62 yards short for having a 1,000-yard rush season. He, of course, will be an unrestricted free agent coming in March. We'll see how that's going to play out. It's kind of a 50-50 chance he'll be making it back to the 49ers in 2018. Averaged 3.9 yards a carry and 8 touchdowns. And then Matt Breida, 105 yards carries for 465 yards was his average. And then the receiving core, Marquise Goodwin, 56 catches, 962 yards. He ended up averaging 17.2 yards and 2 touchdowns. Greg Kittle, 43. He got caught 43 balls for 515 yards, averaged even 12 yards with 2 touchdowns. Pierre Garcon in his season, of course, was ended due cut short before the injuries. 40 catches for 500 yards, averaging 12.5 yards a catch. Trent Taylor, 43 catches for 430 yards, averaging an even 10 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Kyle Juszczyk, the team MVP, 33 catches for 315 yards, averaging 22 yards a catch. And then in the special teams, we had Robbie Gould, 39 out of 41. He would have definitely been my MVP. He should definitely get some consideration as a Pro Bowl alternate, be going to the Pro Bowl. 52 yards was longest. He was 28 out of 30 in extra points, 145 points scored. He was 17 out of 18 in the 40 to 49-yard range. It was a perfect 4 for 4 in 50 or more. Bradley Pinion had a great year, 75 yards, average 75 punts, averaging 43.4 yards. The longest was 59. And then Elvis Dumervil had 16 game start with 9 sacks, 6.5. The punt return was Victor Volden Jr., 9 games. He had an average of 5.8 yards. The longest was long was 16. He had 23 yards. Trent Taylor, 15 games. He had returned 36 times, 9.4 yards, longest 39, and the total was 281 yards. And then the kickoff return by Bolden Jr., 9 games, kick return 9, averaging 20.8, 34 yards, and 396 yards. So as we look at towards the free agency period, this notes with Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, they overturned this roster. 75% of the Niners, they signed impact free agents. They drafted a good rookie class, including Reuben Foster had a real good rookie year, despite being banged up and with some injuries. They traded for Jimmy Garoppolo and made San Francisco the destination. That's the number one thing, and really changing the culture in San Francisco, getting back to where the Niners were accustomed to, like they were in the 4 or 5 years ago when they were going to conference championships and Super Bowls, being a contender when Jim Harbaugh was there. And you look at the cap space. The Niners have $115.9 million of cap money, $115.9 million of effective cap space, active cap spending $102.3 million, and $15 million of dead money. So the Niners are going to do some stuff. Some of the players will not be back. Guys like Aaron Lynch, who did not suit up against the Rams. He has played his last game. He won't be back next year. A few others. I mean, Eric Reid's going to be an unrestricted free agent. And, he's not that free safety. He's kind of more of built like a strong safety, interior strong safety type. And then, a lot of some of the players And Carlos Hyde's going to be a free agent as well. So what's going to be interesting as you tune on to NinersRadio.com throughout the offseason for all the information of the 49ers. And then we're going to look at this and look at the team awards for the 49ers as well. And some of these awards we have given is the Gary Never Award goes to Marquise Goodwin. The Walter Payton Award finalist is Bradley Pinion. Community Relations is service. Says 49ers provided hours of community service. Others won that award was Chancellor Jones, Raheem Mustaf, and then Kyle Jurczyk. Dennis Brown also was presented an award for the 7th consecutive year for the alumnus and community. And then you had the Perry, or the other awards. The Thomas Harrion Award goes to Adrian Colbert, who exemplified by a first-year rookie player. Of course, Thomas Harrion, you remember, who died tragic, who passed away in the collapse and later died during the Niners preseason game against the Denver Broncos some little over 12 years ago. And then some of the other awards we have. The Hazeltine Ironman Award goes to DeForest Buckner. Matt Hazelton played more games than any 49er player. Of course, he played for 13 years in the NFL. He passed away due to ALS back in 1987. The Bob McKittrick Award went to guard Daniel Kilgore. The Bill Walsh Team MVP goes to Kyle Juszczyk. He was the team MVP. And the Len Eshmont Award winner, with no surprise right there, Marquise Goodwin, who had been so much all year long, losing his son after being unborn son prematurely, then losing his dad, and had to overcome so much adversity. And the Len Eshmont Award is given to the best 49er who exemplifies his performance on and off the field. That's a great prestigious award. So that's going to do it for now. I'm Brian Professor B. Davis. I'd like to thank everybody for all you watching, doing NinersRadio.com, through all the shows doing with throughout the year, for me being the reporter doing the pre and post game, and doing the post-game updates and so much more. Stay tuned to NinersRadio.com throughout the offseason with what the Niners are going to do in the Combine, what they're going to do in the free agency draft in March, and the 2018 NFL draft will be in Dallas, will be the site for this coming draft come in late April. So I'd like to thank everybody from Brian Bauer to Dina Howard, who hosts the Niners do their Niners talk with all the guests. We're going to do this again next year. And next year and around this time, we're talking about the Niners going to the playoffs, and we hope they be shooting for that 6th Lombardi trophy. Thank you for watching. I'm Brian Professor B. Davis. Tune us in all Niners updates throughout the offseason on NinersRadio.com. Thank you very much, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon.